For this project, you'll need 2 sheets of plastic canvas, a craft needle, a pair of scissors, and 3 colors of yarn. You're going to cut out 4 squares measuring 28 squares wide and 28 squares tall. Now you're going to thread your needle with your first color, and starting from the bottom right corner, bring your needle up through the second hole from the right in the bottom row. You'll need to leave about a 1-inch tail at the end, making sure to wrap your first few stitches snugly around the tail. Now you're going to count 1 square up and 1 square to the right and bring your needle back down through the first hole from the right in the second row. Now go 1 over to the left of where you started your last stitch, bring your needle up through that hole and then back down the hole right above the end of your last stitch. Now once again, go 1 over to the left of where you started your last stitch and bring your needle up through that hole and then back down the hole right above the end of your last stitch. Next, go 1 square above where you started your last stitch and bring your needle up through that hole and then back down to the left of where you ended your last stitch. Finally, bring your needle in just above the last stitch that you started, then count 1 square up and 1 to the right and bring your needle back down. These steps will create a square shape. Now you're going to stick your needle in the second square from the right in the 4th row, but don't put the needle all the way through. We're going to count up 1, 2, 3 squares and then bring our needle through for the next stitch, and we're just going to create another square. Now stick your needle in the left bottom corner of the square you just made, and we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 squares to the left and then bring our needle through for the next stitch and create another square. Now stick your needle in the bottom left corner and count 1, 2, 3, 4 and then bring your needle through for the first stitch. Now stitch your last square. Now on to the next color. Starting just above your first square but in the same row as it finished, bring your needle up the 4th square from the right in the 4th row and then count 3 to the right and put your needle back in. And now you're going to make 3 more lines just above this one. Now in the same square that you just started your last line, bring your needle up and then count up 3 squares and insert your needle back down and then make 3 more lines towards the left. Now in the same square that you just started your last line, bring your needle up and then count 3 squares to the left and insert your needle back down and then make 3 more lines below this one. Now in the same square that you just started your last line, bring your needle up and then count 3 squares down and insert your needle back down and make 3 more lines to the right. Now thread your needle with your 3rd color and create a square right in the middle. Now you're going to follow the same pattern all the way around the canvas, but alternating colors, leaving the middle blank until the end. So your second square should look like this. So now it's time to do the middle. So there should be 1 color that you haven't used for the outer squares, and you'll use that one now in this section. And the same applies for the lines and the middle square. So when you're done, it should look like this. So to finish it off, you have a few options. You can either finish the border with whichever color you choose, buy some felt, cut it to size, and use a hot glue gun to stick it to the back, or do the same with a piece of cork. Or you can use another square of plastic canvas cut to the same size and stitch around the border as if it was one piece. To do this, you'll have to bring your needle in through the first hole of one of the pieces and leave a 1-inch tail. Again, making sure to wrap your first few stitches snugly around the tail. You're going to go back in through that same hole, but this time joining both pieces together as if they were one, and continue doing this all the way around. When you get to the corner, just make sure that you add an extra stitch. So you're going to do 1 stitch for the one side, 1 for the corner, and 1 for the next side. And to finish it all off, carefully stick your needle into the corner in between the 2 pieces of canvas, passing 3 or 4 stitches and bringing it back out. You'll have to be really careful not to break the canvas with this step, so just take your time. And once you've gotten the needle through, just cut off the excess yarn with a pair of scissors and you're all done.